All right, everybody, welcome to Humanize IT. We've got Skip on here again, and regular co-host here that we kind of skipped out on the first second quarter of this year. He had a nice long break, but now he's got to get back into the habit of
Get in
meeting
the
with
grip.
us every week. I've got a couple more guest stars coming up,
Yeah,
but
shoot me some of those.
it's always good to have a
Yeah.
conversation. So we thought we'd
Mm,
talk this time about how we're using AI at Humanize IT. I know we've brushed over this
mhm,
before, but I really wanted to kind of give an update. Like this last 6 months, using AI has evolved for our company
mhm.
and what it means and what actually we're doing to save ourselves time, effort, come up with next gen ideas, all sorts of things. And more to the point, like in the MSP or technology industry, how can you use it? Or even
Yeah,
outside of the technology industry, like there are things you can do.
yeah.
I don't know about Skip, but for me, I use AI every day, and I
And
have
I've
my
been
little
yeah,
tool bag.
yeah. I kinda jumped on early. I mean, it was a cool tool. I I'd like to attribute this part of my personality to being old, all right? It would be better if I could, but I've been jaded for a really, really long time, all right? New technologies would come out and there'd be the marketing material, and I learned to, not necessarily listen to the marketing so much, but there would be the experts that, we'd get kind of the back end information on, and they would paint such a amazing future with this new technology. I remember 5G wireless was, supposed to be transformational to our society. And the key with that, there was all sorts of talk, again, marketing, but I listened to an expert talk about, why it was going to be so transformational. And it's because with a 5G connection, you were going to get sub 10 millisecond response time for everything. All right. And not that they were proposing it, but they were saying this puts this in the range of doing robotic surgery. All right. Sub 10 millisecond response time. All right? And I thought, man, that can be, if we can get down to that level. I'm not talking about, how much data we're spending, just the amount of time it takes for a packet to go and come back, and that never happened, right? Or it hasn't happened. Let me put it that way. All right,
I don't know what
we
my
are getting there.
response
So
times on 5G are.
what's that?
I don't know what my response times on 5G are.
It's
I know
not
I get
bad. I mean, I've
insane
used it as
bandwidth on
hotspots.
5G.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of that goes into that. So, not to be a 5G rant or anything like that. When AI comes out, again, we get all of these things. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. But you dig into it and it's like, is it gonna be? And there were
Give
AI
me another
startups.
fad.
Yeah. And it is. I do, as I've thought about this, for a little while now, I do see this very much as an internet type event.
Yeah.
We had, I was one of those IT guys that was around before the internet. All right. And then there was that early phase, it was dial up and it was cool and we could
Yeah.
do things that not everybody could, but there was all these limitations around it. And so there was this intermediate phase. But once we had, you know, not only wide access, but better speed to the internet, then we got into the internet age, right? And so I think we're still in that intermediary AI stage, but it's moving much, much faster than
Yeah.
the
I
previous one.
when I talk to people about AI and about different revolutions, so we had the Industrial Revolution. That was what,
Hmm.
1920s. I'll have to look it up. And then we had the internet revolution. Like that transformed our society. That
Yeah.
was a major impact. It took about 8 years really to start get going.
Mhm.
And so there was 80 years between two major cycles. And yeah, we had a lot of interesting things happen in between, like the invention of the transistor, the miniaturization of computation, and things like that led us to this. Now, like we've been 25 years here, and now we're seeing the age of AI. And I think, as Skip said, this is as big as of impact as the internet was.
Yep.
And I almost see it now that I'm thinking about it as kind of a merger between the invention of the transistor and the dot com. So the transistor allowed us to get to the dot com. If we did not get the transistor, computers never would become affordable. They never would have become portable and more ubiquitous in society to allow us to get to this point. And so what we have now is we had the internet. The internet was really easy. We had so many computers
Mhm.
thinking that we now needed to coordinate them, and now we had a way to do it. Then now we have the AI. And AI is showing us and enabling us to do things that normally would take a team of people to do.
Mhm.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how I do that. And the problem is that this is like the transistor. It's lowering the barrier of entry. It's making things easier to do to the point that I think in the next 10 years, we're going to see the actual revolution hit, and it's going to be robotics.
Yep.
Just like what Skip was talking about. When we can create advanced robotics, because now we don't have to iterate, or we can iterate faster, and we can have engines do logical analysis for us that takes a human a long time to do that an engine can do in seconds.
Yep.
So
Well,
to prove my point
well,
here,
hold on. Before you, I know where you're going with this. So before we get let me set one more cautionary kind of, or not cautionary, but just um, a thought point for you. So if we compare kind of the internet revolution to the industrial revolution or any major revolution before that, there was a long period of time, all right, and between the internet and now, yes, it's been 20, 25 years, but it's not so long that we don't have a significant number of people that remember that, right? And when we were in kind of that internet phase, that prior transformational sort of deal, there weren't a lot of people in the marketplace that remembered that. So there was this new concept, this new idea that was embraced. Hey, internet, I can dial up and do this. I can, download this. I can access all this. And today, we have this group of people that goes, oh, if I'd only done it this way, or if I'd only, embraced on that, or oh yeah, I remember this thing that we could, supposedly do that now we can't, this jaded kind of methodology. And I think that is more prevalent. So there's a general skepticism or something maybe that exists around AI simply because we remember the previous revolution. All
yeah,
right. And we've got to take a step back on that. All right. And the successes of that happened because those innovators and those leaders embraced it. And you know, if you're being held back by your experiences, you've got to check those a little bit and say, the value of going forward is going to be greater than holding back, I think.
yep.
That's where it really comes down to.
What's the easiest path?
Yeah.
And that's where, I to show that this is actually something that is going to be valuable. I know we're 8 minutes in here and we haven't talked about how we're using AI, but
Yeah.
this preamble is just to show you that Skip and I have been through a lot of technologies.
Yeah.
We were there for when the cloud migration happened. It was
Hmm.
cool.
Hmm.
And it does allow us to do other things, but it's not as transformational as the internet was. It's just this is a natural evolution to an existing process. This is something different because
Yeah.
I can't stop using it. Like, I am addicted to it. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. It is very
Yeah.
rewarding. There's a dopamine burst to building something fast or getting answers and, being proven wrong or being able to find, research. So I've
Hmm.
kind of broken my set of tools into 3 AIs that I use, and you can choose whichever ones you want, but you need 3 core AIs in your business to really get, and accelerate your company.
Yep.
1, you need a research assistant, and that
Yep.
can be ChatGPT, that can be Perplexity, it can be, whatever the Microsoft thing is called.
Copilot. Yeah.
Huh?
Copilot.
Yeah, my wife was talking about that last night. I'm like, "What's Copilot?" Anyways, Gemini, these are your
You can
research
tell.
assistants.
You can tell we're not a Microsoft shop.
Yeah, these are research assistants. These are your personal assistants that are gonna help you do things. Now, if you need to start working with HR policy, if you need to create legal documentation, or you need to build a database of clients' phone numbers, addresses, and things like that, you need Claude. Claude is going to build things for you. Claude is a builder. He's the
Mhm.
back office employee who you say, "Hey, I need these 30 reports on my desk by 10 a.m." And Claude says, "I am so glad you asked me because I love to do that." And it
Yeah.
does it really well, and you say, "I need
Mhm.
to revise these documents." Claude does that really well.
Mhm.
Claude's not as good as a research as, say, a Perplexity or one of the, other LLMs are.
Mhm.
Claude is going to look, build, and create something that looks fantastic. And you can use Claude as a research assistant, just like you can use ChatGPT or Perplexity to build documents. It just won't be as good.
Yep.
And so you've got a builder, you got a research assistant, and then you need your advanced IT.
Mhm.
And so there is where I've discovered something that's called their full stack development shops. And
Mhm.
so Lovable is one, Replit is another, and there are several other ones out there that I have not tested and I'm not looked into. But you can say, I want a website. Like right now, as we're doing this podcast, I'm building a website over here to the right. It's building everything for me. I said, hey, can you create me a login for this site? Because I'd love for people to be able to save their stuff. And
Yep.
so it's just going through it and it's building a login for it. And Skip and I were playing with it this morning, and it's a cool meeting tool. It's
Yeah.
going to build your meetings for you. And we really like this, and it's doing it while I'm doing my podcast here, people. Like, so when
Yeah.
I get done with this, it'll finish iterating, and it'll finish, restarting, and you'll be able to see it online. It's gonna be called
Yeah.
meetingmaker.humanizeit.biz.
Right.
It'll be published here probably before you see this podcast. And, go online, check it out, it's free, and it'll generate a meeting from any PDF, a website you send it, it'll do different things, so you can create a meeting agenda that matters, and you can talk to your clients, talk to your patients, talk to whoever with it, and it's gonna kinda guide you through this process. This is something that normally would cost you thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. We built it in an afternoon for free.
Yeah.
And that was
Well,
because I had this idea. Man, Skip goes, "Well, what we need is we need something to read our personas that we build and just makes a meeting for somebody." I'm like, "We could do that." And
yeah.
so I just started doing it. I didn't need to hire the devs. I didn't need to go out and do a complex process of learning React or learning Python or anything like that. I just said, "Hey, Replit, can you build this for me?" And we kind of scoped it out and it just started doing it. And
Yep.
here we are less than 24 hours later, or about 24 hours later, actually, because it was a meeting yesterday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
And
understand it.
I've had it building, but I haven't interrupted my day. My day still went on. I still had meetings yesterday. I still met with clients. I
Mhm.
still met with prospects. I still did budgetary things. And we have probably 2 weeks of dev work done.
Mhm.
And it's
Easily.
good. Now there have been some hiccups along the way where I couldn't get it to, like, read some things, and I had to use a little bit of technical knowledge to figure it out,
Yeah. That's all right.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm able to build tools that my clients will love. Now,
Well,
imagine you as an MSP. Like,
yes.
let's say
Th
here's a great idea for you. You use Replit or Lovable, your favorite tool, and you wanna build a tool on your website that linked onto your website that shows people, I don't know, a listing of the best computer buys in Memphis, Tennessee,
Mhm.
or shows people the list of technologies that are upcoming. Like, think of something
Mhm.
that the average person would want to know and put it on your website. Have Replit build it and just create a link.
This is really important. So, the for me, this started when I stumbled on, the phrase. We were talking, and I said, "We need a build a meeting button," right? And I was like, "Yeah, I think you and I both kind of hit at that time. Build a meeting button,"
Yeah.
right? And so we had a real problem, or a solution, a feature, something that was still very fuzzy, but it was a specific goal. And we started down that path. Now, as you did that, yes, I'm when we talked about this, I was thinking our our client dashboard. We call them personas, right? And I'm thinking that, but it quickly morphed. And so now with your tool, you can upload documents. You can point it at any website, all right? Not just our personas that we've developed. It expanded drastically, and you're doing a thing right now that I think holds a lot of people back. All right. And they look at new AI tools and like, okay, how can I do this and how can I make money with this? All right. They're
Mhm.
trying to be very pragmatic. All right. They're running a business. All right. And we've taken approach because we're acknowledging we're in this intermediary phase here. All right. And we're putting it out there for free. All right. We're just doing something because it is cool in some aspects. I
Yeah.
mean, it is a valuable item that we can put out there. How is this going to help us, you know, make money? We're in business to make money. I mean, we've never been shy about that, right? How is this actually going to drive into our bottom line? We don't have a path built for that yet, right? But we're learning a lot right now.
Yeah.
And we're getting in front of the curve with this right now. We're getting exposure, we're getting feedback, we're getting visibility with these items. And when we get a little bit further down the road, we are going to have so many more options available to us to then work in detail how this is going to incorporate into our business model so that, yes, we do make money. And if you're waiting for that spot to say, all right, I want all the details so I can plug this into my business model and I can, get a cost per whatever or revenue per whatever deal, you're going to be contending with people who have already done it, who have already have the user base, the knowledge base, and the market visibility, and that is going to be a hard hill to climb.
Yes.
So we got to get out. We got to use those. And what you were talking about between all the different LLMs, that was a little shout out to another YouTuber or whatever. Dave's Garage has been, I don't know, maybe our humor lines up a little too much, but I really enjoy listening to him. And he did a breakout of the the popular models and what you would use each one of them for. And I encourage you to go out there and do a review on that. I have this type of task. Which AI do I need to be using? And if you've been dabbling in AI and doing a few things, you're like, this is not as good as they said it was. Well, you might be using the wrong
Yeah.
model. And so you might want to come back and reevaluate that.
Yeah, and, like, for instance, when I was building I was trying to find some way to do a proof of concept for an asset lookup tool. I wanted to be able to find the age of any IT asset. I wanna know what year it was purchased. And so I started going down the machine learning area, and I'm like, "Okay, how do I do this? How do I do a predictive analysis?" Like, we should be able to predict the age of a computer based upon its processor, its model number, something.
Hmm.
And so I explored a whole bunch of data and I started training a machine learning on it. And then I started realizing, man, this data is dirty.
Hmm.
So I was reaching the end of what machine learning could do. So I needed to clean it up. So I went into Claude. I said, "Hey, Claude, can
Yeah.
you generate me a table of just known assets in IT? Go HP, Lenovo, Dell, Cisco, and any other assets manufacturers you can think of.
Yeah.
Build me a comprehensive list and put it in a CSV." And it started cranking.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Holy crap." And it started building an actual line by line, year by year list. And I was able to say, "Hey, Claude, um, can you add in the model number on next to like the G6, G7, G8
Hmm.
and break that down by the year it came out?" And he goes, "Sure."
Yeah.
And it starts just like populating this thing, and I realized that I have a master database I just built. I don't
Yep.
need machine learning anymore. Claude did it for me. Now, what do I do with that table? I can't tell Claude, "Hey, can you do lookups for me?" No, I tell Replit, "Hey,
Yeah.
ingest this table and create a lookup for me." So if you put in a model number of a computer, it tells or you like, "This is an HP ProLiant blah, blah, blah." it'll say, "Oh, that's 2002."
Mhm.
Most likely, like, that's when they started manufacturing those. The next version came out the year after. And so it's pretty accurate. You can go out there on warranty.humanizeit.biz and do a predictor. How old is this asset? You can just put in the name and it'll tell you what year most likely that machine was bought.
Yep.
And so now I'm like, okay, how do I incorporate this into my tool? So now at Humanize IT, I'm going to once I get this device ID going, and I feel like I trust it, I'm going to send it to my devs like, hey, here's a database that I've built and looked up. Can you add this to Humanize IT so people can say, look up unknown purchase dates?
Mhm.
And it should get about 90% of them.
Yep.
And that's good enough for most IT people. I built that by myself in my free time using the combination of a document builder, Claude. The proof of
Mhm.
concept came out of Replit. And this is now something that we can do. And we're like, oh, God, this is
Yep.
great. Let's make this in our tool now so people can do purchase date lookups.
Yep. Well, and we're in a it's a actually really exciting phase. So, mm, again, I guess I'm being more of a cheerleader in this one more than anything or something. You know, there is all these times where we do something and we get something out and they're like, this is really, really cool. You know, what would I do with it? All right. I my wife and I've kind of both fall into this. We're repurpose builders, right? We'll see something somewhere, and so we've done a lot of project home renovations or whatever. And there are times when we find something and we're like, "This is really, really cool." All right, what would I do with it though? All right. And we're both getting older and we're really kind of minimizing our pack rat sort of stuff. So there's so many things we're leaving behind now. But there were a season where we would take those and we'd like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but this is cool. I've got to have this. And and sure enough, something would evolve. We would find some design element and we'd look at that and go, ooh, I've got the perfect thing for that. And we're in that kind of exciting phase now with AI. And as you experiment with it and do these different things, you're going to end up with some items that you're not quite sure where to put them. But once you see the process, it's going to open up all these opportunities that you get to back up and go, well, if I can get to that, then I could build out steps 1, 2, and 3, the front ends or whatever
Yep.
to build up that. And again, flipping this mindset of, okay, I'm going to start at step 1, step 2, step 3, and then this will be my result. This is an exciting time to start with the result and work your way
Yeah.
back.
So
And
you,
this is also where some really innovative and sometimes extremely profitable business models pop up. So,
yeah, I tell people like the way I look at it is if I don't know where to start, if I don't know what to do, I'm really confused. I go to Perplexity. I go to my research assistant. Like, hey, can you tell me who would be best how to build this thing I want to build? And Perplexity will answer you.
mhm,
And then they say, well, you should do this in Claude, or you should do this. Like, it'll help me think through a problem. That's my research assistant. And I move over to Claude, or I move over to Replit or Lovable, whatever I need to do next. And so it's like I have this virtual staff here, but I still have to have the ideas. I still have to have the
yes,
concepts built out.
mhm,
This isn't a free lunch. But dang, does it lower the bar? Like I don't need to spend,
yep,
15, $20,000 a month on salaries to get this done, coordinating meetings, dealing with all this stuff. I have to ideate. I have to have a purpose and I have to have a clean guidance system. And if I don't have the guidance system, I just go to my first AI again. I go to Perplexity.
yep,
Given Perplexity won't still doesn't get rid of Google for me. I just want to find content. Hey,
yeah,
take me to the site.
so sometimes you
Go
need a
for the
search engine.
YouTube video for the Daily Show and things like that.
Yeah,
Perplexity will tell me all about the YouTube for the Daily Show, but it won't tell me where the link is.
right,
And so we have different things that we use. These are just more tools for your pouch. And as a business user, you need to have these three. These are the three things you need as an entrepreneur, as somebody who is forward thinking. I want to create cool stuff. Okay, you need a research assistant that's ChatGPT or Perplexity. or one of those.
Mhm.
You need a document builder, and that can be Gemini. It can be that one from Microsoft. It can be. I prefer Claude. I think Claude is the most advanced.
Yep.
And but if you work in Microsoft mostly, you're going to want to use Copilot. Don't use Claude. Use Copilot.
Right. It
Everything,
integrates.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, integrates. So, and then for building websites, building web apps, and things like that, Replit, Lovable, any of those,
Mhm.
and start playing with them and start building cool stuff.
Yep.
And with like Replit, you're gonna have to pay for credits from that. You're gonna pay like I think I've probably dumped about $250 into it. But I've
Yeah.
also built 7 sites that would have normally cost me $20,000.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's also an education for me. I want to learn this. I
Yep.
need to learn this as an entrepreneur. How is this going to affect my SaaS application? How are these things going to affect your MSPs? How's it going to affect your guys' jobs? Be the front runner here. Learn
Yes.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, somebody else will.
Yeah.
People want to learn
That's
about
it.
AI workshops. Start building these up. Say, hi,
Mhm.
I'll show you these 3 things and how it's going to change your business.
Yep. Well,
And
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 let
we're
me
even thinking about doing that, for our, Humanize IT, offering a webinar. Like, we're gonna
yeah.
teach you and walk you through a process of how we use AI to build cool things.
Yeah. Well, let me leave everybody with this thought as well. Back in, um, you know, maybe very, very, very late 90s, early 2000s, do you remember when everybody was really, really just demanding to get instant email on their handheld devices? I mean, everybody just wanted to pull out their phone and get their email. No, 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 nobody was asking for that, right? But this, little company, Research in Motion, came out and they said, hey, we've figured out a way to leverage the existing data networks and we can actually push data and we can actually set this up so that we can do instant notifications. And if we do this, then we could build a device to put in someone's hand that has a little keyboard you use it with your thumbs, and you could get email, anywhere you're at. They started with what, hey, we could do this, all right, and then they worked their way forward. And we're in a bit of a situation with that now. So, you know, yes, email on your handheld devices became a norm, but it didn't start that way. No one was really even asking for it back then.
Yeah.
And we've got a solution today that is indispensable in our normal, modern society. So what's going to be the next thing? And if you've got a crystal ball, great. Share with me what you see in there. But in the absence of crystal ball, I think the values and the things we learn moving forward are going to be more profitable than holding back and being too conservative.
Yeah. I think we really just need to make sure that we are aware that this is something that's gonna be around. You
Hmm.
do need to know this or you're going to be left behind.
That's it.
This is the way it is. If you did not adopt, if you were a car salesman and you guys did not adopt, um, the web in the late 90s, early
Hmm.
2000s, people
Yeah.
just stopped coming to you.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was. Now you're gonna have people that say, "Adopt AI." It's not gonna replace employees right now,
Mm.
but it will augment your staff. So a staff of 5 will become a staff of 50. Imagine that power as an entrepreneur. You are
Yeah.
now more adaptable, more agile than people 10 times your size, and that's really good right
Ooh,
now with as fast as things are shifting.
that is a
Get
really good
to know
mindset.
AI.
Yeah. Rather than cutting staff, m- exponentially increase your staff.
Yep. What could you do with 10 times the staff right now?
Yep.
Train your staff up on Perplexity, Claude, and Replit and watch them go.
There you go.
All right, everyone. This has been a great conversation. Like, this is a practical guide to what we are doing at Humanize IT. And you're going to be seeing more and more tools hit our website. And I think we're going to call them like the trash heap or something like that, or dumpster fire,
Yeah. That's fine.
because they're not perfect. They're really good though.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and they're very useful. So as we come up with ideas of how, like, hey, it'd be great to have this tool, we're gonna make it.
Mhm.
And if it becomes super good, we'll integrate it into our product.
There you go.
So, all right, everyone. Thanks for coming on today, and listening to us yammer on about our AI. And hope we'll have some really good guest stars coming up here pretty soon that I'm excited for you guys all to see. Thank you.
That'd be good.